Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is the big man Boisterous coming to you with some Platinum League Pandemonium from the Abyssal Caverns. Down here in the bottom left, right-hand corner, we have ZayJay spawning in as the red Terran, and over here in the top left, we have his opponent spawning in as the blue Terran, the blue Terran Lemon. As this game starts off, both of these players are saying "have fun" and "you too, thank you," because neither of them is Protoss. And I don't actually have a bias against Protoss, not saying good game and stuff like that. It's just that in every video that I have happened to cast, I don't think any of them have, except for maybe that PvP I casted. But I'm still fairly sure that neither of them did in that game. Also, this is actually going to be the longest game I have casted to date. It's going to be in 3 parts, so I hope you guys enjoy all 3 parts of it. I hope that my annoying S's don't get in the way of it too much. I know that they're there. I'm working on a fix right now. I'm researching up on standalone mics that I can buy, because right now I'm working off of a headset mic and it's really not that professional. As this game starts off, we see Lemon actually not going for the wall off, so he's going to have a slightly bigger economy earlier in the game just because it's so much easier for his SCVs to get back, but he's actually just scouting around his base. Oh, he was just waiting to put the barracks up. So both of these players are going for reasonably evenly timed barracks, as I remembered to put the nameplates up. There we go. So, yeah, both of these players are going for averagely timed barracks. I think ZayJay is just a bit ahead, but not anywhere noticeable. ZayJay is actually going for faster gas, so we might see a really fast 1-1-1 build out of him, or a factory right after barracks. I don't think he's going to have quite enough gas for that, though, because you need to drop the refinery before you drop your barracks to get that much gas. But he is going to have a faster factory than Lemon. And it does look like he's getting a scout off on the space, and it does look like Lemon is going to get the exact same thing, so neither of these players are going to be working off of any sort of special data or anything. I also believe that both of their workers are going to be able to get away clean, so nothing really major happening in the beginning of this game. Lemon is actually diving in for a second taste of information, and that might be overcommitting with this SCV. He might lose it. I think he will. As soon as this Marine pops out, he'll be able to stutter step it to death. Other than that, over on Lemon's side, we don't see anything too interesting. He's getting Marines. He has his orbital up. Both of these players actually have their orbitals up now. ZayJay's is actually a bit later than Lemon's. I think about 10 seconds, so that's going to be another slight economy lead for Lemon. Neither of them is getting supply blocked. They're both being very good with they're both being very diligent with building their supply depots. Looks like the factory is coming up for Lemon approximately 10 seconds after the factory for ZayJay went up, so ZayJay is going to be a bit ahead in his tech. He's also going for the second refinery at around the same time that Lemon is. So both of these players are going to have about the same gas income once those factories come up, and I think that they're both going to be going for reasonably fast starports, because neither of them got a tech lab onto these racks. So it would surprise me if they went for like, you know, a 4 racks tank all in. I think they're both going to be going for pretty fast 1-1-1 builds, right up to Medivacs, right up to Banshees, or right up to Vikings. And it does look like ZayJay is going to be going for that starport. Lemon still hasn't revealed it, but there is that starport, and his factory is lifting off to build a tech lab for it. It looks like we have 2 tech labs coming down for ZayJay, 1 for Lemon. So I think Lemon is still going to be committing to a heavier gas route. I'm guessing it's going to be some sort of Banshee play, either that or really fast Raven, but really fast Raven doesn't have a whole lot of practical purposes in the TVT matchup. ZayJay actually getting supply blocked a little bit as he tries to get this Hellion out. He's not researching anything out of this tech lab yet, which is kind of a surprise. That supply blocking wasn't awful, but it's a tiny little hiccup in his play that is causing him some issues. Lemon is going to go for that fast Banshee with Cloak, so this actually might cause some issues for ZayJay, as if ZayJay just keeps dropping mules like there's no problem, he's gonna have some he's gonna have a problem. He is going for a faster expansion, a lot faster of a CC actually. I think that Lemon is building up for a CC, but ZayJay's is gonna be about 15 seconds earlier, so unless Lemon builds it down the ramp, his economy is gonna be late. Lemon is getting, they're both getting a fairly good stockpile of units. They have about the same Marines. ZayJay has tanks out, but Banshees with cloak are about to pop out for Lemon. So he's definitely not behind as far as being able to fight those tanks off goes. Siege Tank is actually coming up for both players, slightly faster for ZayJay, as is evident by the fact that he has a slightly faster tech lab on that factory. But Lemon actually isn't that far behind it, and I think he's only 12 seconds behind. So he's doing pretty reasonably, and he also has the fact that he has cloaking coming up on his side. ZayJay should have enough energy for this Banshee coming up pretty soon. Unless he drops it on a mule. If this Banshee gets there late and ZayJay drops this energy on a mule, it's going to be awful. But I think that Lemon is going to reveal it, which is something that I don't agree with. I mean, typically, if I ever harass with Banshees, I go in to check with their cloak to see how much energy there is, and then see if I can get him to drop a mule, and then I would pop back in with cloak and just completely devastate his economy with that one Banshee. And there is actually a second Banshee coming out. This command center, this orbital command is not going to have the energy. I'm surprised he's not finishing this one and turning it into an orbital command, because that would be able to provide him a second scan. And a lot of SCVs are going to go down here until he can get a scan out, but he did switch this to the tech lab to get a Raven out, which is a very nice choice. Very solid to be able to just really quickly switch your factories and try to get that fast Raven out. This is going to be bad for ZayJay even still. He is uncloaking. Lemon is uncloaking this Banshee. Actually, I think it just ran out of energy and had to uncloak itself. But yeah, he's not going to be able to micro against these Marines. The Marines are going to catch it and kill it with barely any losses. This Banshee actually gets a tank though, and that's pretty bad. It's going to lose itself as this Raven pops up and a scan goes down on it, so there's a bit of overkill there. This tank just barely skirts away with its life. We see Lemon getting his orbital command, so his economy is actually leaped ahead with that harassment. And this command center is just so close to being done that it's finished now, but he's still a little bit behind on him. I think this is hinting at the fact that ZayJay is going to be going for more of a very heavy economy-based play, as he is getting a lot of production, which is probably going to require a third base, especially with this extra barracks going up. I think he's going to need a third base to support 2 factories, 3 barracks, and a starport. He is moving out with a Viking. I'm wondering, no, he's moving out with his entire army. So he is going to go for some sort of timing push here. It's an interesting one, considering the fact that his enemy knows that he had those Banshees out, and he has the correct units to respond to Banshees, and he's also getting a reasonable amount of Vikings out. I feel that ZayJay is in a better position as far as overall army goes. He is adding on 3 more racks so that he can really kick Marauder and Marine production into overgear, maybe even throw some Ghosts in on there. Because I definitely love Ghost play. They can pick off so many units so fast and just wipe the energy off of medevacs. They're really pretty beautiful units. If ZayJay keeps this medevac filled as this attack starts, it might be bad. Lemon is going for the slow and safe leapfrog into the base. He's probably going to unsiege these tanks and move them in now. I'm surprised he's letting his Marines get so far ahead. Typically you see the Marines just barely behind the siege tanks protecting them, or barely in front of the siege tanks protecting them, but it looks like they're going to poke in hardcore. Oh, if he had moved up that ramp and seen those 2 full medevacs and sniped them, that would have been awful for ZayJay. But ZayJay is going to get into a pretty favorable position right here. His enemy's going to lose all of his Marines, which is not what you want in a situation like this. It does look like these siege tanks are going to be able to do some damage, but they're about to lose their vision of the high grounds. He does throw down his scan to pick off that supply depot, but I just don't think that supply depot is worth the minimal damage he did. Especially with this tank popping up, he's going to be able to clean this up with very few losses. And if he can manage to snipe this Viking off before anything serious happens, ZayJay is going to come out seriously ahead in this engagement, as he didn't even lose any health on this tank, or if he did not lose a whole lot. I'm surprised he's not throwing down auto turrets to try to scare these guys off even faster. But I don't know if he just completely forgot about that Raven, or if he really only got it to scout that Banshee. But I mean, Ravens have a lot of use in a game like this. It does look like he's going for the mass Marauder with a tech lab on every one of his barracks. So we're going to see some very heavy Marauder play out of ZayJay. He's not getting any upgrades though, which is something that it's a big pet peeve of mine whenever somebody plays but doesn't get any upgrades, because upgrades are just such a major component for this game. They help all of your units out so much. As soon as you break a certain level, it's actually just more effective to get an upgrade than it is to get a unit, just because all of your units getting 1 damage is better than you just building another unit. These Marauders would be a lot deadlier if they had those upgrades. I don't think they even have Concussive Shell. Yeah, he needs Concussive Shell and he needs Combat Shield, ideally in this situation. Lemon is in a pretty good position, but a couple of Marauders down here in the back could deal some serious damage to him. I'd be surprised if ZayJay doesn't go for any sort of play here. He has the 2 medevacs out. He has 7 Marauders out, so 1 more Marauder and he'll be able to fill both of those medevacs, and I'm guessing that's what he's going to do, and then just go for an attack. He is getting slightly supply blocked still, so it's still not the cleanest play ever, but at the same time it's not bad. Lemon is actually going for a super mass expand here, with 2 expansions going down, and if medevacs or this army just sees those expansions, it's going to be really bad for Lemon and really good for ZayJay, as that will take him really far ahead, because Lemon doesn't really have any way to protect this expansion. There is absolutely nothing his army can do to link this expansion to his main base. If he wants to defend this choke point, he really can't defend this expansion, and he really can't defend both at this point because his economy hasn't kicked into high gear enough. I'm surprised he went for that expansion and not one up here, where all he really needs to do is control this choke point and this choke point, and that's a lot easier to handle than controlling, this choke point, and a choke point down here, whether it's this one or this one. Plus the fact that it's just on your enemy's side of the field is very, very risky. And it does look like these medevacs, if they hook around properly, are going to see that expansion, which is going to be awful for Lemon. And is ZayJay going to scout it? I don't know. These medevacs look like they're heading in the direction, but I have no idea. This just got morphed into an orbital. It can still lift off and it can still run from those Marauders. But even if he just forces the lift off on that orbital, it's still going to be awful for Lemon, because this orbital is such a huge commitment for him, and if he loses that commitment with barely any return, it only brought him in like 50 minerals so far, and if he loses that commitment, it's going to be awful. But is ZayJay going to see it? That's the question. He hasn't yet. He isn't going to scout it. Oh, he sees there's the mineral patch being drilled, but he doesn't see it. Oh my god. Wow. That was probably one of the unluckiest moments I've ever seen in this game. His hooking around really, really cost him there. And I mean, he knows that this sensor tower is up. He can see the circle on the map. That means that Lemon knows exactly what's going on. I'd be surprised if ZayJay can do anything other than just snipe off this engineering band. I'm surprised he's trying to do much more. I really would have just gone with canceling the upgrade and just getting out of there. And it looks like he is going to go for canceling the upgrade. Is he going to get it? He is. And as this drop gets cleaned up, and it was not that effective of a drop, it did slow down the upgrade, which is pretty good, but still, that's not nearly as much damage as you want to do. But as that drop gets cleaned up, I am going to be going into part 2 of this game, which you can find in the video description. So, I'll see you guys in a second.